You know, Christmas, believe it or not, is not a time for these weird outfits. It's primarily, for most of us, a time to reflect on God loving us so much that He sent His Son to earth as a human being to live, to die, and to overcome death as the once and for all payment for our sins. Amen. But there is a practical impact of Christmas in that it serves as a milestone in our lives and gives us an annual marker of the things that have changed within the past year. Now, there are children who are taller and smarter than they were a year ago. And there are some old people who are actually shorter and not as smart as they were a year ago. Just saying. There are some families that have welcomed new members by birth and adoption. And there are some that will have an empty chair at the dinner table because some family members have concluded this life since last Christmas. Now, most of the items that we're going to consume for Christmas dinner are exactly the same as a year ago. One of the stable and predictable traditions that most of us tend to keep, whether it's a turkey, a goose, a ham, accompanied by dressing, sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, and gravy, green beans, or ambrosia, it is probably identical to what was on your table last year. Now, you're probably going to receive some of the same gifts from the same relatives that you've been getting for years. Maybe it's a pair of socks from some aunt in Texas, or some fudge from a lady in your church, or some Chex Mix from a friend's mother who has been sharing it with you since you were a teenager. But the certainty of it gives you a warmth as you bask in the nostalgia and the sensations of knowing that no matter how much the economy or politics or culture or sports dynasties may change, some things never do. The most important thing that never changes is that Christmas is still a simple story about a young, unmarried teenage mother who was away from her family and all that was familiar to her. And then she went into labor in a sleepy little town called Bethlehem and gave birth in a cave where animals were kept. She ended up having to place her newborn baby in a feeding trough where sheep and goats and cattle had just been eating. Humiliating and filthy. You know, one would think that the birth of a king would have more regal circumstances. But God showed up in the lowliest of places to forever remind us that there is no place so desperate and despicable that the Creator wouldn't go to get to us and give us His affirmation of love and forgiveness. I hope that most of the things that changed in your life this year were the good things. And I hope that the things that changed in your life that evoked deep wounds and the pain from them could be offset by the strength of all the things that are familiar. And hopefully, we're all going to be around next year to mark the birth of the Christ child, the milestones of our lives, and yes, the same stuff at the dinner table.